Got milk? Got oil? The story is said from Jesus about the 10 virgins. 5 were wise and 5 were foolish. So I guess it's a Jewish wedding process, I guess, or tradition, something like that. I haven't really dug into it, to find out the detail of, how that worked. But either way, it was said that in the middle of the night when the bridegroom came and, or the announcement came that the bridegroom was close, and they were to, get up and prepare themselves for the party. Said, the lamps, their lamps had gone out, and 5 of them, the foolish 5, didn't bring extra oil. And they wanted to borrow some, and the 5 wise ones said, "No, we just have enough. You have to go get your own." And while they left, the bridegroom came and they were shut out. The whole story is about being prepared. It's particular to the Jewish people back then, and it's in general to all of us today. Being prepared. This is the message of the gospel, and should be the message of the gospel today. Being prepared. People always must be prepared. We must be prepared for the most important thing in our lives, which is the end of our lives. The death angel come to all of us, and we must be prepared for that. You see, in this country that I live in, the USA, most people aren't prepared. Most people are so focused on life and living, eating, drinking, being merry, that they're not being prepared. We see people dying all around us in all these unexpected time, places, and manner. Being prepared. Got oil? Do you have oil in your lamp? Are you prepared for, most importantly, the day of your departure out of this life? Being healthy is no guarantee. Being rich is no guarantee. Being famous is no guarantee. Because we see it. We see it every day. We hear about it. We see it around us. Hear about people just dying in their sleep. Healthy people. Got oil? Are you prepared? Am I prepared? Kinda, sorta. I'm working through that. I think personally, one of my secret prayer is, God, don't, take me yet, because I have more projects, more things to accomplish in His name. There are things that I want to do in my ministry, and I secretly pray that God would give me the opportunity to let me, stay here long enough to accomplish that. And so that's why I hesitate to say, am I really prepared? Because, I still have unfinished business in my ministry. I think the most important part of being prepared is that it's in your thoughts, right? It's in your thought. I don't welcome death. I was listening to the book of Acts after Paul had spent 2 years in prison, just for preaching the gospel. And he finally sat before the regional governor, and he was saying, like, look, if I had done anything wrong, if I've broken the law, then I'm prepared to die for it. And as I listened to that, I kind of listened to it with admiration, because I'm not at a place where I could say that about, being prepared to die. And, he was going to die a cruel death. I mean, he wasn't going to die in his sleep. So that just made me think about myself. And I wouldn't say that. I'm not that bold and brave. I'm not at that place yet. Got oil. Do you have oil in your lamp? I mean, on the other side of my thinking, I know I'm kind of sort of prepared, because I know Jesus, and I'm endeavoring, and I've been doing this for a long time, endeavoring to live the gospel. How great am I at it? That's another thing that, in my consciousness, I think about it. I mean, I don't feel like I'm perfect at it. I'm not satisfied with, my effort at it. No, I'm not satisfied. I'm not doing enough to satisfy me. But I understand, that God is not working by the numbers. God is going by the thought and intent of your heart and your behavior. And so I'm doing those things. I think for me personally, a lot of it is I kind of expect more, in the recesses of my mind. I'm thinking, if I get a certain place and I can perform and, things like the early apostles did and stuff like that, I can see those things around me. But then I catch myself, because I understand that salvation is not about that. Those things were just like adverts, they were just advertisements. They were just ads, right? And we all see the ads, but we don't all buy, do we? But the ads are there because, some will buy. And so, that's the purpose of the miracles and so on and so forth, is to draw attention to the word, because it's the word that saves people. The word, you hear the word, you understand the word, it drops into your heart, you understand it, and you make a decision to live it. It's not the miracle. We can't live the miracles. Usually those miraculous things are just one-off. They said to Jesus, we know that you come from God, because no one can do the miracles or do the things that he did. The miracles. And we know that the most important thing that Jesus came to do was to die for us. His death is our death if we choose to participate in it. That's the most important thing, because there were other preachers before Jesus. The prophets. There were other preachers, other people preaching righteousness. But just hearing righteousness, alone is not enough. So the preaching is not enough. And we know this to be true, because you sit on the pastors, and you've been to church, and you stream this and that or whatever, and you look at your life and you don't see nothing changes. Because the whole purpose of salvation is to change us, to make us citizens of the kingdom of God, instead of citizens of earth, humanity, nations and families and stuff like that. because you must be born again. We have to be born again. We have to be changed, into, people who are qualified, qualified for the kingdom of God. To live in that space. And so that's the most important thing Jesus, did. He gave us an opportunity to be that. God oil. Are you prepared? Are you prepared to go whenever God calls? That's the message, and that's the message behind, the 10 virgins. It's preparedness, and we have to be prepared, as I said before, at all times, because we don't know when God is going to call you. Of that day and hour, no man. So, I see a lot of folks in the Christian community, they're focusing on the second coming of Jesus. No, you have to focus. You have to be prepared to go before he comes. You know how many millions, billions of people have gone since Jesus was last here? A whole bunch of folks. So the expediency is in being prepared now. Yeah, there's always been signs. We see signs today, and yeah, there's some things happening. You could say that, are markers that, Jesus is on his way, etc., etc., etc. But that shouldn't be your focus. Your focus should be on being prepared for God to call your name today. God oil, bless up.